You are listening to the Artwonk Podcast, a show where we take a deep dive into what it takes to be successful in marketing if you are a visual artist or craftsperson. We will explore how the art world works as well as how to better achieve your professional goals. I am Neville Parker, your host and resident Artwonk. So settle in and join me as we get today's show underway. This is episode 14. Choose your own critics. Yay! Hello everyone and welcome to this episode of the Artwonk Podcast. Today I want to talk to you about the importance of having critics in your world and what can happen if you don't use them. I think this is a really, really important subject because this is how we deal with criticism. It's a program if you can put in place the right types of support systems that'll enable you to push past the hard times, past the knockers, and enable you to actually find good advice. And it will enable you not to shoot yourself in the foot. And I have a hell of a good cautionary tale attached to this episode. So welcome in and join me as we go exploring critics and the value of them. So let's start with what a critic is. You know, we all know what an art critic is, somebody who goes along to a show and then writes or expounds about their opinions. That's not the critic I want to talk to you about. We have self-critical thoughts. We tend to be rather harsh with ourselves. And that's not a critic either that I want to talk about because that one's flawed. We're too close to our own work. So what type of critic is the best type of critic? Well, I believe the best type of critics are the ones you choose. And so I've got a system whereby I chose 3 critics, 3 people that I was going to listen to closely, and I empowered them to be my art critics, to be the critics that I listen to whenever I'm making judgment calls, the people I hunt out for advice or for feedback. Everyone else is a critic in that they have an opinion, and you hear enough opinions, they will sway you, but I don't let them get me in my emotional pocket, that place where I'm most vulnerable. I just have 3 that are allowed in there. One of them's my wife because she's in this journey with me. She's known me for 36 years and has not run away or hurt me in any fashion that means that she's got anything ill against me. So she's someone I can trust. She's also somebody who's vested, and that makes her have the right to have an opinion. So I put her as a critic. I put my mum as a critic because mums, generally speaking, and my mum in particular, she can tell me to pull my socks up. She can tell me that I'm being a dickhead. She can tell me whatever is necessary to get my attention, but it's always done with love, and it's always done to see the best for me. So I can trust her implicitly, but I also know she's capable of giving me a swift kick if necessary. And then I picked a business critic. I picked somebody who I have a friend who is incredibly skilled at cutting through my babble and getting to the point of what I'm about. He has great business knowledge. He has great creative instincts. And so I've chosen him as my 3rd critic. And these are the 3 people that I listen to whenever I'm at a turning point, at a crossroads, when I'm struggling and I need feedback. Everyone else is welcome to their opinion, and I enjoy sharing my artwork with them and my business journey with them. But invariably, if I get to that point where I am just genuinely not sure what to do, these are my go-to people. And I suggest that you have a couple of critics in your world, people that are vested in your success, but are strong enough, brave enough, and knowledgeable enough that they will give you the bad news as well as the good news, because none of us need to have a rosy-tinted view of the world and have it ripped out from under us by reality. So it's important to have good critics in your world and good, solid support. You can't do this on your own if you're going to be a creative, if you're going to be a maker of any type, a craftsperson, fine artist. The same would apply for the other types of art forms out there, that when so many people can have access to you these days, there's so many opinions. We feel it when we put something on Facebook or on Instagram and we don't get as many likes for it as we thought it was worth. We all feel that. Those are, in essence, they're critiques, they're people responding, but they're not important. They're not or should not be important enough to make you change what you're doing. When you need to seek out somebody who's going to help you make that decision. So why am I talking about this now? Well, I today just had an experience that got me really heat up. And I thought, this person has no sound critics in their world, or if they have, they've made a mistake and not listened to them. And I wanted to share it with you, but I thought I should frame it first as to why I felt like I did. I saw something on Facebook that made me really mad. And it was an artist doing what I think they thought was a good thing for their business. And it was a terrible thing for their business, in my opinion. But let's share it with you and see what you think. I come across a post shared by a friend of mine. So this was actually a post made by somebody who I have never met, never heard of before. So I have no vested interest in them at all, apart from the fact that they showed up on my feed. And here was a lovely, really well put together presentation type of post saying that they were having a closing down sale after 4 years. They were closing their studio gallery and it was time to move on. Now that was the picture of somebody standing at an easel painting, and that headline. And then underneath it, I noticed, as I tend to look at these things, how many people have reacted. There were about 36 reactions, and almost half of them were people weeping, and a whole lot of shocked face little emojis as well, and a couple of thumbs ups. And I was quite touched by the number of people that saw this as sad news, because I didn't know this person. So I clicked on the post, started reading. And it went well off my screen because it was a good long explanation of what was going on. But in it they said that after 4 years in this lovely spot that they had, where they had given umpteen classes and lessons, and where they had produced videos teaching how to paint and enjoyed selling their artwork, it was now time to give up and move. That it was time to close down the gallery after 4 years, and they were really sad to do it, but they'd decided to have a sale to clear everything out, to get that part of their lives removed or over with. And they were offering 40% off plus free shipping anywhere in the country. Now, I was floored by that price discount because that's a substantial discount. And my heart broke for them because I thought, that's a dumb amount of money to give away. You must really be feeling it right now. I'm stuck in isolation like everyone else around the places and seeing no opportunity to pursue my career path or my income. And I thought they're doing it hard. This is sad. And I'd already seen that others thought it was sad with the little cry emoji. So, I was feeling for them. I read on. And by the way, I don't approve of discounts. I don't like discounts, never have, never will. But seeing this, I thought they were having to cash up. Something bad was really going down. And I was feeling a little bit more generous than normal because of the environment we're in. My empathy levels were high. It was great. But as I read further on, they then invite me to go to their website and use the code Moving Gallery to get my 40% plus free shipping off their work. And that caught me, this Moving Gallery. I thought, what the heck? That's a strange one to use. So I go and click on their website. The link opens another window, and here I am. They've got some great paintings. Really quite interesting. Not my personal taste, but definitely good work. Well presented. Mid-range price points. And he's offering a damn good deal. And looking at them thinking, wow, what a shame. This person shouldn't be giving up. And they've been teaching and everything. A loss to the art community. But I glanced through what was there, decided there was nothing for me, went back to Facebook, And my hand happened to nudge the mouse, and the screen moved down a little bit further where the story continued. I hadn't actually realized there was more. Where they went on to say that they were about to open a new, brighter, bigger studio gallery where they look forward to selling new artwork. And they've decided they don't want to take this old stuff that they haven't sold over the last 4 years with them, and that's why they're having this sale. I went from feeling really sad to feeling really pissed off really fast. Well, lots of reallys in there, isn't there? The reason for that was simple. Anyone who had bought from this artist in recent times got ripped off. Here they are literally saying, I want to quit this stuff. It's not good enough to go on to my new Flash place, and I'm offering a big discount to do it. What's more, I thought they were closing down. They're not. They're moving. This is a moving sale. It's not a closing down because they're struggling deal. It was a pure sales trick. And I don't like being tricked. And I looked at all those people that had reacted with the sad reactions, realizing none of them realized it either. This person was actually lying to me. Now, they should have had somewhere in their process a moment where they thought, is this the right way to present this information? And checked in with a mentor or a critic or somebody they could trust to say, I'm thinking of doing this, what do you think? And if that person that they checked in with, assuming they did, gave them the advice that this was a good thing to do, they should get rid of them, because that was shitty. For a start, what have you done? You've told people who've purchased from you that they paid too much. You've told people coming to you in the future that you're prepared to discount heavily. You've made your market opportunities a diminished pool of smaller returns. And why? You're moving on to a new place and you don't want to take the work with you. That's fine. You can do things about getting rid of it, but do it respectfully. You've just taken... Sorry, I'm not talking to you. It sounds like I'm lecturing you. Poor listener, I know that you've done nothing wrong, but you can see how excited this makes me. They've just gone to a place where they've not only told everyone who has supported them that whatever they spent was just money, it wasn't support or other things, because it wasn't valued. They haven't recognized the value in that possession to somebody else. They've also gone and undermined their future going forward. They've said they're going to a bigger studio. They're going to have to sell more work to pay for a bigger studio, but they've also dropped their price expectation. I wouldn't buy off somebody if I did a research. Little bit of a Google, and I find that they have big sales of 40% off. Why would I pay full price? I'd try for a discount. They obviously overpriced in the first place, right? So you've got that to deal with. You've got an increased overhead, less of a chance to argue your price point, and then with that, you've also got all those people out there that person gave lessons to, that they took money from in exchange for guidance, have just been shown that this person not only couldn't sell their work at full price, because they've said they've got stuff for the last 4 years they couldn't sell, silly statement, but also that this person is prepared to just cut and slash and move on. Bad business decision, absolutely poor. So what should you do in a situation like that? I hear you screaming back at me. Well, to be honest with you, it's not easy. You have to take time. If you want to get rid of those works and you feel the pricing was wrong, you wait till the new space and reintroduce them at a different price structure, because in the new space you have the opportunity to create a different expectation. You can play with reworking them slightly so they're new works and hence not seen before, and put them out at a different price. You can use the opportunity that you've got this thing to talk about, this new studio gallery that you're opening, as a way of drawing attention and having your work sell to a fresh new market. This idea of liquidating because you've got needs to spend money and you have means to turn something into money is fully understandable. But in this particular market, it's not going to work well for you. Add that to the fact that we've lost our tourism trade all around the world right now. We're not seeing tourists. So this person's going to rely on selling to a local market, and they're about to flood their local market. If I read their statement correctly, they're not changing towns. So they're going to flood their local market with a whole lot of cheaper artwork of theirs, which means anyone that might have bought their work in the future has already got one and they got it cheap. So why would they buy another one at full price? See the logic? They're actually messing in their nest in a number of different ways. So, you have to find other venues for selling the work on. Joining an online gallery and putting it out there that way so it's selling to a broader market outside of your region would be a prime example of an option that's not a mistake. You can talk to a new market with a new price expectation as long as it's not massively different from your old one. If this artist has gallery representation, they've got problems, because I can tell you now, if I found any artist I was representing was doing a 40% off sale, I would be delivering their work back to them the first moment I got to get in my car and take it to them with a, thank you very much for all your support, loved working with you, here you go. Because why do I want stuff that people are looking at going, it's overpriced, and they're selling it 40% off up the road? I mean, who does that? So, you've got to think through your options. Separating to a new market, evolving a new pathway for that work is one way. Reworking the work and reinvigorating it for yourself is another way. If he needs the money desperately because he needs new canvases, scrape the paint off and paint over the old canvas again. Recycle. Sand it back, start again. It's better than putting work out there that you've undervalued and that has messed up your established marketplace, especially if you've worked 4 years to build a reputation. So the message behind this rave, you're in a really tight bind when you go out putting your name on things. You're making a contract, even as casual as it is, an implied contract of care that you're not going to mess with your name if you're selling to anyone who sees your work as an investment. If they see your work as an adornment and they loved meeting you and they loved the experience and they thought they paid a fair price at the time, and then you somehow make the price seem like it was wrong and doesn't fit with what they're now seeing, that queers the whole experience, not just the price part, but the trust, the connection, the feel-good value's gone. And you're selling all those things in your next piece. So please, if you're looking to liquidate or you're looking to reposition or you're looking to change, find yourself some knowledgeable people and talk it through. Just like with that text that you shouldn't hit send when you're angry, and I probably shouldn't hit record when I'm angry. It's important that you put balance into it, that you get some sense of whether or not this is an active journey that you want to take. Is this a place you want to put yourself? Do you want to be apologizing and explaining going forward? Or do you want to be selling and celebrating going forward? So that's it. That's my rave for today. Please don't do that on anyone who knows me's connections, because I don't want to see this again. I know it's hard. Hell, I'm struggling like everyone else right now, and I'm really struggling to keep my own emotional state up because I need to keep believing it's going to get better. But if I start watching people around me have fire sales and doing dumb stuff like this, man, that's not a good place to be for any of us. And I'd appreciate it if you didn't do it, for your sake as much as for mine. So, the obvious solution to this is for me to take my chisel and my hammer and go back to my piece of stone and work some of this frustration out. Sadly, it's not going to be as easy for the artist involved to work this out. I'm not going to say anything to them up front. I've chosen not to mention their name or the country they're in for the simple reason that it's not my business to. But as a cautionary tale for all of you, I would suggest that before you do anything like that, you have a real think about what your next move is. And if you think that you're going to have to spend time explaining a move, don't do it. Right, I'm off to carve. Have a good one. Thank you for your time.
Yay!
Hi everyone, it's Neville here again. Hey, just before I go, I want to remind you that we now have a new email address. It's info@theartwonk.com. And also the artwonk.com is our website, which we're in the process of getting set up with show notes and follow up from the shows. So please get in contact with us if you have any questions or feedback, especially if you feel that I glossed over something that's of importance to you. Really would enjoy having that connection with you as somebody who's trying to be a creative in today's environment, and let me know if there's stuff that I'm missing out or stuff you'd like to know. So now I'm off to my studio. Happy creating!